Hello! Alright friends, here's another action figure review. This time it is the Neca Robocop action figure that's in their video game action figure line. Now, I was such a huge fan of the Neca Batman figure that came out with the 25th anniversary of the original Tim Burton Batman Blu-ray that I just decided I wanted to pick up another figure. And this one really, I just really like it. So, this was the one I decided to pick up. So if you guys aren't familiar with this particular line from Neca, what they do is they take very well sculpted action figures and they color them like they would have appeared in the original Nintendo games back in the late 80s and early 90s. So old Nintendo Entertainment System, the original Nintendo games, and they redo the packaging to look like those games. So there are several in this line. This is the one that I was really taken with, so this is the one I picked up. So let's start by taking a look at the package. So for those of you that are in my age range, you may have played the original Robocop video game on the Nintendo Entertainment System. This is exactly what the front package looked like. Of course, this was the Nintendo seal of quality. This had the Data East logo, if I remember correctly, was the company that put out the Robocop game. So, and this is exactly what the front cover looked like. If you look at the side, more Robocop, another Real Toys logo, which would have been Data East. If you look at the back, it's an exact replica of the original video game packaging, except the instead of having pictures, screenshots, it's got images from the action figure. And so here's a close-up of the text. Feel free to pause and read it if you would so like. And then here's another close-up of the images. And then some gobbledygook, and again we see the Neca logo. Now the nice thing about this packaging, and I think it's exactly the same for all the other arcade version, or I'm sorry, Nintendo Entertainment System painted action figures, is that it comes in a window box, which includes some more images from the game. You've got your life bar and your ammo bar and all that stuff, all that information from the original game down below. And even the backdrop, as you can see, is a pixelated video game backdrop. Now, let me just kind of back up here so you can see that you also get to display the figure in the box if you so choose, and you really get a good look at the paint scheme that makes him so darn interesting. So really excited about this one. So a good example is the Neca Batman, which the Batman figure is the exact same figure that we saw in the 25th anniversary line, but in the video game line, he's painted different variations of purple and blue, which is how the Batman figure looked in the original Nintendo game, because that was just how they in 8-bit world, that's how they colored him. So other ones in this line, I believe you've got the Predator, you've got I think Friday the 13th. So you have Jason Voorhees, another one would be Freddy Krueger. So there are definitely other ones in this line, but this is the one that really excited me. So let's get the package open and take a look. So here's what he looks like outside of the box. Now, just as a first aside, the box is extremely easy to open and take the figure out. So if you plan on displaying him and then want to put him back in the box for posterity's sake, you can do that very easily. There's nothing really damaging to take him out of the package. This is a better look at the background that he's packaged with. You can see how it's a lot of images. The background image definitely looks like an old Nintendo game. Just really colorful, really cool. So I really like the way that these guys are packaged. So let's take a look at what he looks like outside of the blister pack. So here's the Neca Robocop in all his glory. First thing I want to note is taking it out of the package, these ankle pistons were a little hanging on into the blister pack. They're really sturdy, so you don't have to worry about breaking them, I don't think. But overall, that was the only real difficulty in getting him out of the package. Now, the most striking thing, of course, is the paint scheme. And if you look, instead of him being entirely colored in that shimmery blue, like Robocop is in the film, he's equal parts kind of a matte blue. He's got a lot of gloss blue and silver, some painted on highlights. So you can see that the paintwork here, he's got some painted on highlights, both also on the face. His actual mouth looks like more cell shaded because of the heavy black that they use. So it definitely replicates a video game or animated style. Lots and lots of detail on this figure. I do know that they have a Robocop figure with the exact same mold that is not painted like the video game. It's painted, movie accurate. But I got to say, I really just like him in this paint scheme. One of the things I really like about the paint scheme is if you look at the way that the highlights are done, it actually creates a light source. So you can tell where the lighting is coming from, and I just kind of like the idea of positioning his head kind of oncoming into the light. There's just something about the way that they chose to apply the paint in an asymmetrical style. It just really makes him look cool. It gives a really strong light source, and I think that he just looks fantastic. Just really well done. As far as his articulation goes, he's very well articulated. His shoulder, the widths of his shoulder, the height of his shoulder, I guess, kind of gets in the way, especially since he's barrel chested, from really doing a lot of, arm lifting poses. Also, from the middle, he does have a little tight joint in the middle that he can swivel around. There's not a lot of flexibility there. Legs are pretty much backward and forward. No real outward motion. My favorite part, though, is the way that the piston feet, or piston ankles, piston Achilles tendons, whatever you want to call them, the way that they work. Because they work really, really well and just look super cool. So, helmet's not removable, so in case you were wondering, you don't get to see the full face of Murphy. But just a really, really nicely sculpted action figure. As far as action features goes, he's got one, and so let's look at that now. If you look, here's his leg. There's a little button in the back, and if you push that button in, his leg opens up, and inside you can store his gun. So I'm really excited about the way that they built in the holster, which is honestly one of the coolest parts of the film. Gun just slots into his hand, and he's got his trigger finger out, and you can kind of work it down in there. But I will say it is hard to get the gun down into a point where his finger looks like it's on the trigger. You really kind of have to work it. It keeps wanting to pop out, but you can get it there. So, you can strike any sort of your move creep action poses. Now, this actually brings me to, other than the limited mobility in the upper chest, but that's, in the upper arms and the chest area, which is kind of expected. The other issue that I have, and I don't know if all of them are like this, but this mechanism for the leg seems to be really fragile. Now, it may just be mine that was like that, because actually mine came out of the package broken, and I had to kind of put everything back together. But for mine, it's a little hard to get the pieces together, and if you technically you're just supposed to be able to push on this front part of the leg, and it'll snap in, and it does. But this other piece has a tendency to pop off. It's extremely easy to fix. The mechanism is just a basic hinge, so no harm, no foul. It's just, if I were to say I have one gripe about this figure, that would be it. So I always kind of feel like I'm going to break it when I take it in and out of the holster. But since I'm not really playing with it, I don't know that that's that that's such a big deal, because he's mostly going to be posed with his gun up. You know, I just think just a great looking figure. Yeah. So there's Robocop. Just an excellent. He's about 7 inches tall, so he is really tall. It's just a nice big figure. His standing, he needs a little bit of help with standing, and I'm still kind of breaking in the joints. So he definitely has an needs a little bit of help with standing until you can kind of break him in. And he's kind of on a soft surface here, so. And there you go. That is the Robocop video game replica, video game painted action figure from Neca. He was, I believe, $30 on Amazon. Still very easy to get a hold of, very readily available. So if you like this figure, you should definitely pick it up, because I think it's, I just think it's really cool. And so that's it. Thanks for watching. Look forward to more reviews from Fourth Guy in Line, and have a wonderful day.